Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the Sarcasm and Liberty Wednesday night live stream. I'm your host, Mike Ursery, aka the Liberty Ginger, and with us tonight, the panel, a little bit smaller than usual, definitely smaller than last week. Last week was probably the largest panel we've ever had on this thing. But tonight, with us, our resident meme lord, Michael Leoncello.
Hey, yo.
Across the pond, the pure madness one, probably on the road right now, the annoyed monarchist Otter, and on loan from shitlord preachers, Amos. Gentlemen, how's everyone doing? Except Madness. I already know how you're doing. You're still in the EU.
Hey, yeah, just get your line over with. We know what you're saying.
All right, Madness, how are you? How are you doing, Madness?
Well, the last housemate is gone, so that is at least something good. But I'm still living here, so that is still shit.
All right.
The suspense. I like that.
Everyone else, how are we?
Yeah, not too bad.
You know, Mike, it is pronounced Amos.
Amos, whatever.
Wow.
Do you prefer Amos?
Amos, yes. That's literally how it's pronounced.
And now we'll call you Amos.
The famous Amos.
All right, Michelle.
Call it, you've got to put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable for both syllables.
Almost.
Yeah, what about Tori Amos?
I don't know if you have been keeping up with the news this week, specifically the news today. Trump's former personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, was sentenced to 3 years in prison. We've also found out that American Media Incorporated, a media company that owns such fine publications as the National Enquirer, Star, and I think it was called OK Magazine or something. All those celebrity tabloids, apparently they have also been acting as a fixer for Trump because from what they've said, they gave up to, I think, like $160,000 to some woman to keep her quiet. Well, I guess what they did was they bought her story and then they just didn't print it. So that is in the news. They've reached a non-prosecution deal with the Southern District of New York. On top of that, I believe it was Monday, Trump had a meeting with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer in the Oval Office where they all sat around and yelled at each other for about half an hour about the border wall and about keeping the government.
Mike Pence. He was sitting there saying nothing.
And Mike Pence sitting there saying nothing. He probably just didn't want to be there. I can't say I blame him.
Now, how can you say nothing? Sounds a little contradictory.
I'm telling you, he didn't want to be there. Like, there's already talk that he's going to be asked to step down in 2020, and they're going to have someone else be Trump's running mate. So I don't blame him for not wanting to be there.
Is Trump impeachment still going to be a thing?
I doubt it will happen.
With all this news coming out?
No. Trump, you guys don't know what Trump impeachment is?
Trump impeachment.
Trump impeachment. Trump
sounds like ice cream.
No. Trump gets impeached. Pence becomes president. Pardons Trump, appoints him vice president, then Pence resigns, Trump becomes president, Trump then reappoints Pence as vice president.
But the impeachment should still happen, and I doubt that part will happen.
No. He pardons him of that, though, and brings him back in. It just switches him around.
But I only doubt the first time would happen.
That would be the biggest no you in history.
If you're gonna impeach me, well, my buddy's just gonna pardon me, make me VP, and then we'll just do a loop-de-loop, and I'm president again.
Right. That swears in as president. No, you.
Well, you doubt the first.
How crazy!
But yeah, that's become the term Trump impeachment. It's basically his no you. It's all the impeachment talk.
Has that showed up on Urban Dictionary yet? Trump impeachment.
There's a shirt about it. That's how I found it.
Oh, there's definitely got to be a what do you call it? Whatever Mike just said.
No, you.
Urban Dictionary.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Drawing a blank.
Okay, so Trump, Nancy, and Chuck were all shouting at each other for about 30 minutes or so about this wall, which Trump says the wall is already, like, parts of the wall have already been built. I don't think that's true. I think he's talking about the fence that's already there. But think about this. Today is December 12th. Christmas is in 13 days. We might get an early Christmas present because they have about another week or so to find a way to fund the government. If not, then it has to shut down.
Yay!
And libertarians get excited. We all get a little bit antsy around this time when they're talking about they may not be able to keep the government open, and we're all just hoping and praying and cheering that they just shut it down.
We don't get any prorated tax refund out of this, though.
The problem is that most of the government's already funded. There's who was it? Mike Lee or Congressman Massey was on Kennedy last night and said something about how there's like less than 10% of the government going to be shut down or unfunded.
Most of the government is already funded. I believe what they have to fund left over to, like, what's left this year, they have to, well, like, the biggest hurdle is Homeland Security, and that's why they're having this discussion about the wall. Supposedly Trump will not sign a spending bill unless they're in it. They also have to fund, I think, Department of Education, I think the Department of Labor, a few other departments, but most of the government is funded.
Remember last year when this was happening, when Trump was giving like one of the best deals he could have given for the wall? He was like, give me the wall and I'll give you, what was it, DACA?
Yes.
And he was like, I will give, we'll forgive all these illegal immigrants if you give me a wall. And they're like, no. So now he's just, yeah, so it's like this year, it's just like, screw you then. No wall, no government.
Right. And like, I don't, January when the new Congress is sworn in, like, here's a one point that Trump had brought up, because Nancy was telling him that he has all the votes in the House now. Like, she was telling him, have the House pass the spending bill now before we take over. And then he was telling her that's pointless because he needs 60 votes in the Senate. Whenever this new this new Congress takes over, he's going to have 54 Republicans, I think, 54, 55. They gained, I think, 2 or 3 seats in the Senate.
Yeah.
Something like that. Where the both.
He was saying that he's going to need 60 votes in the Senate to get this wall pushed through. That's never going to happen. So I know this was his biggest campaign promise, and the election is less than 2 years away now, but he's either going to have to give the Democrats something they want that he doesn't want to give up, or he's going to have to just let this wall go. I know it's going to hurt him politically. It's really going to upset his base still.
The wall just got 10 feet higher.
I'm afraid the wall is not going to happen. It's definitely not going to happen when the House takes over. The House is not going to pass that.
I think just overall, though, if he can get the wall up, by his second term, that's still pretty big, though. I mean, if he can get the wall up at any point during his possible 2 terms, I think it's huge for him, but it's just going to take a lot of doing, especially with Pelosi and Schumer really, really not wanting to let him have it.
Yeah.
Most
Democrats
Democrats
on everyone's pockets,
have
too.
it.
Well, yeah, no, I get that. I I'm just thinking in terms of political plays. They're all this posturing they're trying to do. Like, they pretty much, in that conversation, I heard them. I mean, it was pretty much just, hey, you know, hey, Otter, turn off your camera there. We can see you.
Yeah, we don't want to see you.
Don't dox yourself, man.
I turned it off before I joined the call, and then that doesn't hold through whenever.
Yeah, you gotta. It probably reactivates when you go back in.
Yep.
But in terms of him, like, I heard that whole conversation, and it was just funny how, like, he was really trying to like say, "Hey, we agree, we need border security, so let's build the wall." And they're just like, it was like Schumer and Pelosi were like short circuiting because they just cannot admit, like, they just cannot admit that he needs that he wants a wall up. They're not even saying the word wall.
It looked like an episode of Night Court if he was administering a divorce. And you know, Mike Pence was the judge. I can't remember that guy's name, but yeah, it looked like a divorce court.
There was one part where I yelled. Somebody asked him how much the wall was going to cost, and all he said was, "We are under budget." That's not what they asked. I can't stand that when
he said we're under budget, but if we were given $5 billion, we could do a lot with that. Basically, is what he said. A good chunk of it could be built.
Yeah. Weren't they saying in the beginning that the wall cost like $10 billion, and then it grew from there. It started out $10 billion. I think it got to around like $40 billion. I think.
Yeah, I mean, they were talking about like some solid, like, pretty high end type of wall with all the maintenance costs could be upwards of 30 to 40 billion. But then for what Trump is probably proposing is just a very basic barrier. I mean, to just cover all what he considers the problem areas, just to get something going, and then probably just build off of that.
That's not a bad idea.
They'll give him $5 billion. He'll build a sort of a basic barrier, and then from then on, he can, or even whoever takes over for him in the future, you know, they can add onto that wall.
Well, the next president's probably going to be a Democrat, and they're not going to add on that wall. They're probably going to tear the wall down.
Oh, jeez.
See, in 2020, it's going to probably be Trump again.
You know, just the way that Trump has tried to.
Then after, you're probably going to Democrat.
Don't we need a Republican to tear down the wall?
Oh, I get
Only
it.
if it's in another country. Only if it's in Germany. No, but Trump is trying to undo everything Obama did during his 2 terms. I guarantee you the next president who's a Democrat is going to undo everything that Trump is doing.
Yep, so and then we're going to keep putting the bullshit.
So instead of...
the president will take it down.
I mean, why build a wall when you can just tear it down and just put money at the border? Then they'll all come in.
I honestly can see some Democrats do that shit.
Someone goes out there.
When shit goes wrong.
Someone goes out there and just builds like a wall of $1 bills.
Oh, that's good for strippers.
So what you're saying is that the Fed needs to become a contractor.
Exactly. They're going to build a wall of dollar bills, and then we'll have a surge of prostitutes coming into the states, and then prostitution will have to be legalized. It's the ultimate libertarian plan.
All right. I got an idea that's a little more cost effective than all this this high end wall material. Just build a wall of speakers, and 24/7, 365. You play Nickelback.
Well,
nobody will go near that fucking border.
That's a good idea.
Well, or put screens there and have Amy Schumer on repeat. And pretty much the people stay away as well.
Yeah, we can get a
No,
little
we
playlist.
need thin poster board, like strong enough that's propped up by maybe some like pieces of wood or something.
Yeah.
Giant nude pictures of Lena Dunham facing Mexico.
They have to clean up all those dead bodies.
Oh, we're trying to keep them
All
away.
die.
Yeah, pointing toward the pictures, pointed towards
Right.
Mexico.
I'm saying we're trying to keep them away, not have them kill themselves.
They won't kill themselves. The heart killed them. So that's scary looking. The heart cannot take it.
Right.
Yeah, but well, back on track here. Although those are very good ideas. I would say now, do you think Trump is going to have a second term? I mean, with all of this stuff that came out today, Michael Cohen going to prison, saying that he's going to cooperate with prosecutors even more, and then American media incorporated coming out and saying what they've said. Do you think Trump is going to have a second term?
Absolutely.
I think so. Especially the way how the left keep pushing people again back to him.
Right.
I
mean,
I think
he already won once. I don't think he's lost much support. If anything, more people have like kind of turned into like, all right, he's not as bad as everyone made him out to be. So unless they have an actual contender that people are gonna like, he's winning.
I think it depends.
It doesn't sound like the Democrats have actual people because apparently they're
Oh
trying
no,
to push Hillary again.
They're all lizards.
The rumors are there.
Yeah.
Oprah is being represented.
I think it depends on a number of factors. I'll try to make this brief. What the election of Trump has shown, and his time in office so far has shown to his fans and to anyone that is remotely open-minded, is that the media is completely, forgive me for the language, completely batshit. And he was even tangentially right. Just tangentially, and then they've spent the last 2 years proving what he was saying, or even just we're not even proving. I need a milder word, but the displaying tendencies. Two, if the economy continues, I mean, the Dow is at 24-ish thousand. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay, you can have a 500-point swing at 24,000, and the only people who are going to go nuts about it are the sensational ones who remember a 500-point swing in the 90s. Have that perspective of, oh my God, the world's ending. So if that maintains, if this tax thing, because we're all going to start paying taxes according to his plan this upcoming April, that's going to be the litmus test. I personally am going to end up paying more in tax due to his plan because all of my deductions go away, per diem and any supplies I need, any tools I need, all of that goes away. All those deductions go away. So I'm going to end up paying more. If that and the people who, the blue collar people who don't get things from their employer are going to see that tax burden go up. And then you might have a little bit of pushback against, hey, wait a minute, he was supposed to help us out. But that's yet to come. But again, if the economy continues, if everyone goes out of their way to show that they've lost, that they're a few bricks shy of a full load, then he's going to be the one, the sane one in the room. I need a psychological equivalent of the one in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. He's going to be that, if y'all follow, and because the Democrats have to put someone up again, like you guys were saying, and to any of us that aren't complete progressive wingnuts, then we looked at the first debate and said that grizzled Vietnam vet guy that made the joke about the communists is the one that they would put up if they were serious about winning, but he's not a progressive wingnut who kowtows to the SJWs. He's the one of the old guard of the Democrats who sit there and go, "What are you smoking? This is what this is what we were fighting against when we were all against the war, in favor of the war on drugs. This is what Dragnet warned us about, you kids." You know, I don't know if you guys ever saw that show with the weird drug nuts.
You're talking about the guy who only had like 5 minutes of debate time.
Yeah, exactly.
He said something about how he killed a guy in war. Like
his proudest achievement was all the commies he killed. Yeah.
Yeah. Could you like look up that line, because it was hilarious. I forget exactly what it was, but he said it in the most hilarious way.
Yeah. Yeah. But if they were serious about putting up a contender, because what no one will admit over on the Democratic side is Trump is Bill Clinton, 1996.
Yep.
He is
absolutely.
Yeah.
I've been saying that on every stream. Like, Trump is a 1996 Democrat, and Bill Clinton obviously fits that bill.
Yeah. And
no pun intended.
Yeah, and the Democrats don't have a tool in their toolbox to counter that. They don't have a way of opposing that, because the centrist, hey, let's help some people out, but let's not go crazy, and let's just somewhat leave everybody alone, but let's raise some taxes, and we don't like guns. That kind of mentality is completely gone. I feel like I've hijacked the stream. It's completely gone from the Democrat wing of the party. They've been told to sit down, shut up, and now the kids are in charge. The kids have taken over the adult table as far as the Democrat Party goes, and they don't have a counterweight. They don't have a sane voice in the room for that. So when that's where they're going, who's the only option left standing when you've got insanity and the disgusting guy you don't like, but you haven't been doing that bad as far as while he's been in charge.
All right, and I think
really long-winded. I apologize.
And honestly, like, I think we're past the typical politician era in politics after this, because, like, I mean, the last 5 presidents have been, like, very charismatic, and, like, you think all the way back. I mean,
wait,
obviously, like,
charismatic?
the very first ones were like all wild men, but like it was very serious for a while, and then you had Reagan, who was a movie star. He told jokes. But the Bushes were pretty plain, but Clinton, Obama, now you have Trump. The serious politician era is over in America.
And I have to say that up until Obama, and even Obama was, as much as it pains me to say it, capable of being professional. Trump doesn't display that whatsoever, and I really think, like you said, it really is a paradigm shift as far as the future. We are heading towards the Bronto age of presidents. We are not heading back towards the my esteemed colleague from yada yada yada.
The Bronto age.
Yes, Bronto.
You got to step back and take a look around of what's around you now. Like, what is the future? It's not the people that go home after working 9 to 5 and read the newspaper every day and are well informed. These people are like listening to Cardi B and mumble rap. They'll or whatever people are doing nowadays. It is not the same kind of people. That being not the same kind of politician.
Yep.
I think something else to consider too is that going back to if Trump can win a second term, I think a lot of it is going to depend on who gets nominated from the Democrats, because when you look at the field of possible candidates running in the primary, I can't wait for that first debate. That's going to be a lot of fun. But who is it going to be? And is it someone who can?
There's like 100 where they can choose from or something.
I think somebody needs to look up who the favorites are for the next Democratic National Convention, the speakers and the openers.
Well, I don't know if you guys have actually found the list of possible candidates. Like Biden is one of the front runners, possibly.
Beto, Harris.
Yeah.
Hillary.
Yep.
Hillary's going to run again.
It's probably going to be Hillary. I mean, most of them want Bernie, but the reason the public didn't want Bernie in the first place is he was
because he might
old.
die in office.
Right. So add 4 years to that. So that's out. Hillary, she's obviously just going to set up for a loss, but that's probably what they're going to do.
Same with Oprah.
Unless someone else steps in that they have confidence that can actually beat Trump. Which I don't see anyone like in the list.
Unless the left really jumps headfirst into a celebrity president.
Yeah.
Well, they have planning to make Oprah as well. That will be Hillary 2.0. The only instead of being vote for me because I'm a woman, Oprah will basically say vote for me because I'm black and a woman.
No,
Oprah's thing, and I still don't think she's gonna win.
I have a point to make about celebrity, but first I'll say that whoever is going to be the nominee is going to be someone who can. I hate saying this because it sounds so stupid, but someone who can out Trump. Like if you look at the way that Trump acts, the way that he acted on the debate stage whenever he was debating against Hillary, I mean, he kind of acted out and acted like a clown and acted like a bully kind of, but his side loved it. And Hillary tried to be professional and be studious and all of this stuff, but it just didn't work. It hates Hillary, but still, like as far as like the celebrity thing, you look at some of the Democrats right now, like Robert Francis O'Rourke. I refuse to call him Beto. I'm never going to call him that. Robert Francis O'Rourke already has a lot of celebrity. If Ocasio-Cortez was old enough, she would run, and she would probably win the primary.
She's planning to do that in the future.
Gosh, she is.
You said that.
She's 28.
Yeah, she's 28, and she's trying to pull that. She's trying to pull the gender card and bend that to her advantage, where she can run for president. But that's not going to work. The Supreme Court.
Not the gender
card.
Yeah,
there's a reason for that. Like, you need to have a good amount of experience to become president. Well, unless you're Donald Trump, I guess.
Well, that's another thing too. Like this, Trump mania was pretty big in 2016, and it still is now. I mean, his supporters still love him dearly. Are they going to reach a point where they get fatigued or reach a point where they just get tired of Trump and they can't rally the way that they did 2 years ago?
They gotta get I was gonna say the Democrats gotta get The Rock. Just it doesn't matter. What do you think?
No, the Rock's a Republican. We've been over this, but yeah, that would be the guy, or John Cena. John Cena, maybe LeBron James. Imagine LeBron James like trading our Secretary of State to like Britain or something.
How old is Colin Kaepernick? Does anyone know how old is Colin Kaepernick?
No idea.
Late 20s, early 30s, maybe.
Oh, never mind then. Because you got to be 35 to be president. That's right.
Yeah, you be 35. But do you think there's a chance that his supporters just get tired and give up on him? Especially
No.
2 years from now.
They're probably not going to necessarily get tired of him. They're just kind of treat him like the like the retarded cousin that kind of just sits off and does his own thing. You know, you kind of you got that just retarded younger family member that kind of just is off doing their own
tolerate
thing.
It.
You literally ignore they even exist, but you know they do.
I just thought of the most awful thing that could possibly happen.
What?
Beyonce 2020, twerk the vote.
Twerk the vote? No. Maybe maybe they could just get a black guy, just play that card to see if that works.
Right. Dang, they haven't done that one yet.
No. But I mean, play what you know, do what you know.
Right.
If you did it before, do it again.
I guess you're right.
The biggest problem is that their message since 2015 has been, we're opposed to Trump. They have not had a cohesive message outside of SJW nonsense and we hate Trump. We are not Trump. You know, it's no different than the Republicans in 2008. Hey, wait, we're not W, and we're not Obama. And of course, you had that milk toast running against Obama.
What better way to resist Trump than Mark Hamill running for president?
Oh, we got a frog.
Yep.
Mark Hamill.
Luke Skywalker.
Well, is I
Yeah,
I
don't.
That will be something.
I'm just thinking. He was a rebel, the Resistance, Star Wars.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Mark Hamill, I first think of the Joker.
But I mean,
play that card as well.
Obviously not. But I'm just thinking, if you want to try to pull out some celebrity stardom, like really play up some sort of symbolism.
But he has to devote part of every campaign stop to reading Trump tweets in the Joker voice.
Ooh, just my win.
All right.
I've just given away 2020.
Let's think of just some like god awful celebrities that the Democrat Party could be using right now. Eminem. I mean, he had that rap song against Trump. I'm pretty sure he's a Democrat.
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg is cool. Like he really gets a fuck ton of vote because of that shit.
Eminem tried to be part of that resistance, but like other than that one song that he did, he didn't really do anything. I guess I don't know if.
No, he started whining afterwards that Trump didn't give him any attention of that song.
Maybe
he called Trump a coward.
Can you imagine being like in a school in 200 years and learning about President Snoop Dogg?
Well, weed will be technically illegal.
I mean, are you gonna see just Snoop Dogg like walking in and out of the State of the Union, doing little hand gestures?
And everybody gets free joints.
Yeah, he's gonna legalize weed on the first day.
Yes.
As an executive order.
Executive order abolish DEA already.
That would be one of his
abolish DEA, exactly.
And he probably would make prostitution legal as well.
Yep.
All right, he's got my vote.
Yeah, the ATF will now become a distribution hub for 40s and gas to all my homies.
I mean, don't take that the wrong way. I'm not talking about, I like prostitutes in that way. I'm just trying to get a new career.
Snoop Dogg, the libertarian choice.
That would be something.
That'd be interesting to have like an openly pot smoking president.
That used to be in a gang and used to rap.
His campaign slogan would simply be "No sticks, no stems."
His VP, Martha Stewart. Because one of them is a convicted felon and you don't want her becoming president.
Wow. No, I don't know. Another thing to consider too is, well, I mean, if he gets impeached, he's not going to be convicted of anything because the House will impeach, the Senate will decide his fate. The Senate's not going to do anything to him. That's already a given.
I doubt impeachment would happen.
But it will. I wouldn't put it past them, to be honest with you. I would not. As much as they've been talking about it, and as much as their base wants them to do it, I would not put it past them. What they choose to impeach him for, well, they'll probably make up something if they can. But that's another thing to consider too. Now, here's one question that I have. As far as like all of this going around, why did he even think he needed to do that?
I'm sorry, you cut off a little bit.
I said, as far as like, you know, all the news about him ordering hush money being paid out to these two women, why did he think he needed to do that? I mean, he said himself during one of the debates, he said that he could murder someone in broad daylight on Fifth Avenue and his supporters would still vote for him. Knowing this,
maybe the hush money was done
because his base is definitely a bit not as strong as it used to be, probably.
But this was October 2016 when his base was very strong.
Yeah, but I mean, nowadays his base is probably, you know, he's probably being fed info that his original base is not as strong anymore.
Yeah.
2 years ago when he did this, though. This was 2 years ago.
Well, because if something legitimate that actually happened came out, that's different than him just saying he could shoot someone.
Right.
I mean, you could say stuff all day, but if you're actually caught doing something, that's the difference.
I don't think it would have mattered because even like whenever the news about Stormy came out, you heard all the supporters saying like, I elected Trump to be my president, not my pastor. Like, so I just.
Well, what did he do with Stormy though? Did he do anything illegal?
Nope.
He didn't do anything illegal, but he still wanted her to stay quiet about it. Allegedly.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing damage control. I mean, it's...
Yeah, but probably he already started the whole process of trying to hush them was already before he started doing anything. He didn't know how things would go. And when
the very phenomenon of him...
He already knew he had a good base.
Right. The very phenomenon of him coming into the public eye, more so because of the presidential run, he was probably already taking steps to dish out as much hush money as he could to make himself look the best. And now that whole Stormy Daniels thing kind of plays in his favor because he just made a power play to get her to pay him.
Yeah.
So now she has to actually get back to work and try to make up the money.
Well, she works for him again.
We learned a little bit more not about Stormy Daniels. We learned a little bit more about Michael Avenatti with that too. We learned that he set up that fund for her, which she never knew about. So if he's collecting money for her, but she doesn't know about it, what is he going to do with it? There were some other things that we learned about Avenatti. She's probably going to Avenatti.
Hey, Mike, we should do a. I can't remember how to pronounce that in French. The yellow vest thing. We should do a yellow vest update with Ben.
Oh yes, Ben is with us. Ben, how are you?
Hi guys.
What's up? Ben Stiat.
What's that?
All right, so give us the most recent update on what's happening in France.
Okay, so most recent update. So Monday, our beloved president addressed the nation.
Beloved.
Beloved, yeah. He addressed the nation with a 13-minute pre-recorded speech. Didn't go down very well. He hardly addressed the problems. He gave a very small solution to a very big problem. So he's decided to basically every month through and it'll actually come back to around about an extra 80 euros in your pocket. But to do that, what do? More taxes. So essentially they're just going to tax us more to pay the minimum wage workers more money. The rich, the ISF tax, which is the big tax, which is the main problem that French people have, is going to not come back. It's not making a comeback. So the billionaires still don't pay taxes, and the poor still affected. He did not address the problems of the students, nor really of the retired people. You remember I mentioned my great auntie. That's not really happening either. And yeah, it's not looking great. So the next couple of months are going to be pretty much similar to what we've seen in the last month, maybe with less protesting and less rioting. But
I saw something in the news a little bit before we went live.
With the speech. What's that, Mike?
I was saying
Whoa. Mute yourself, Otter.
Jesus Christ.
There we go. All right. Anyway, as I was saying, I saw something a little bit before we went live. Macron is going to face a vote of no confidence tomorrow. Have you heard about
that? I don't know if that has been confirmed. I haven't been on my phone for the last 12 hours.
I thought Theresa May was going to possibly face a vote of no confidence as well.
So that happened. That happened tonight. She won that.
Are you gonna put him through the guillotine?
We don't. We have the guillotines ready. They are ready.
Good.
Good. Every EU leader should be getting under it.
Ben, did you see the what is it? Andy Serkis, the guy who played Gollum as Theresa May? You there, Ben?
Yeah. Sorry, am I cutting out?
Yeah, you are cutting out big time. Did you see? So the guy who played, Gollum in Lord of the Rings, he leaked, quote unquote, leaked out a video clip of him portraying like a Gollum-esque sort of Theresa May video.
Oh God.
Her basically being. So you remember the scene where it's Gollum and Smeagol and they're like going back and forth.
Yeah.
It's Theresa May going back and forth about the agreement or the people. And regardless of the political message he's trying to put out there, it's absolutely hilarious because first off, the disguise is quite well done, and it's a very good just the way he like makes. I mean, obviously he's Gollum, but it's really good. Like her being torn between, we need the people to vote on this.
We do.
And it's just like, no, it is the precious agreement,
I need to see that. I didn't see that full video. I think I saw a screenshot of it, but I didn't see the actual video itself.
Hey Ben, I missed a couple bits of what you were saying. Did the president cover the fuel tax or the excise tax on or whatever it's called on secondhand cars?
No. So he didn't mention it because technically the thing had already been sorted, so he didn't feel the need to address it. Basically, he started his speech by condemning all the violent protesters, and that was really badly received because he completely he didn't talk about the tax, the fuel tax at all.
Okay.
So here's a question for you. Let's say that this vote does go down. I guess it would be in a few hours in France. I'm not sure how far ahead of the U.S. they are, but let's just say that this vote does take place. If he does not receive enough confidence votes, will he have to resign immediately?
I think there's a procedure, but it would be within the next month and a bit. Yeah.
Okay. If he does resign, who would assume his position?
It would be who I think. And don't quote me on this because I'm quite unsure, but I'm pretty sure it's the leader of the party that has the most seats.
Okay.
So
is that his party?
So it'd be it's either whoever replaces him in his party, which is most. I think his name is Alain Juppé. I think he's the one who's.
That name is funny.
What was his name?
Wait, what?
What was that name?
Alain Juppé. What's so funny about that?
I don't know.
It sounds so funny.
It's a very French name. Alain is very, very French.
You guys are so weird.
What?
Now this party that has the most seats, is this the same party that Macron is a part of? Is it his party that has the most seats right now?
Currently, yeah, in Parliament, yeah, currently.
Oh, so it would be the new boss, very much like the old boss then.
Yeah, but so Marine Le Pen and Jean-Luc Mélenchon, so the two next big political heads in France, they've also both called for the for Parliament to be what's the word? You know, when they break it down, basically they shut it down and start voting over again.
Oh,
a snap vote.
I think the rest of the stream should just be Benjamin saying funny French names.
Okay, so the next few weeks could be really interesting in France then.
I mean, even tomorrow at this point.
Yeah.
Taking it day
tomorrow,
by day.
really, it's something to really watch. This is okay.
You Americans just don't fall in the same socialist trap we did. That's all.
Yeah,
we're trying.
We're trying to avoid that. Some districts around this country like to elect democratic socialists, and now the ideology is getting much more popular.
What they don't like, what we don't like admitting is we've been heading down this road since 1912.
Yeah, but you've managed to keep it off. You've managed to push it off.
Well, as they can see what happens in the EU.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
I'm hoping that what's going on here now, like as far as like America's attitude towards democratic socialism, I'm hoping it's just a flavor of the week and nothing more than that. Like,
I mean, it's definitely going that direction pretty hard. I mean, you see a lot more even open communists now, and like you never saw that, 4 or 5 years ago.
We need some good old McCarthyism again.
We need another Red Scare. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, if anything, just a good couple of years of it, just a hard backlash against communism, and then back to normal.
Oh my gosh.
Just a small dose of Red Scare.
I don't know. Like whenever you look at like the admiration of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I don't know if it's really so much about her ideology as it is more about her. That's why I'm saying like this is just nothing more than like
it's more about her than her ideology.
By the way, speaking of her, Elizabeth Warren 2.0. You know why?
Why?
She's claiming Jewish heritage.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
Elizabeth Warren 2.0.
Jewish people. Same as a lot of socialist people hate Jewish people. She would
I'm just
make notice.
She's gonna play this Elizabeth Warren card again.
Something about every Puerto Rican has a menorah in a cabinet somewhere. Yeah.
Well, there was a picture of her. Apparently, someone didn't even realize what they were doing. So there was an article that was. You heard about this?
Yes, I saw it on Sargon. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
the Covenant meme.
the
Yeah.
Covenant merchant. So
Yes.
you guys have seen the meme of like the guy who looks like a Jew with the clasping sort of covetous kind of hands.
Yeah.
That they
Rubbing
had
his hand in the scheme. Yeah.
Someone had a picture of her doing something similar, and they used that as the article's picture, describing her talking about her Jewish heritage, purely by accident, apparently. And
someone
as soon as someone caught it, it was immediately switched to a video clip of her talking about her instead of a picture. But it's just her like this, with her hands clasped together, and it says Ocasio-Cortez claims Jewish heritage or something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, he did not just
a lot of comments and socials hate Jewish people. She turned away voters.
Yeah, tell that to Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, Bernie Sanders.
He's not the brightest person in the world.
I don't know. Everything in American politics is stupid anymore. Like,
yeah, the EU is not much better.
I've said this many times, and I'll say it again. I do not want 2020 to come.
Well, then we nuke the world.
I think you
for coming.
I think you broke up after you said you didn't want 2020 to come.
I said anytime that meteor wants to hit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
When the meteor wants to hit
the world, and we done as well. Yeah. Not much different. If a comet hits us, we nuke ourselves. There's not much difference. We're dead anyway.
Well, we are a Democratic congressman.
Yeah. Since we did the whole Democrat election talk, what do we think about the Libertarian? Like, who's going to be the Libertarian presidential pick? I mean, I know it's probably not going to matter.
Because we're totally going to win this time, guys. Hey.
I mean, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme.
Well,
of things,
if we get very sharp, we have actually a good chance.
Guys, we're totally going to win.
I kind of don't want to pay any attention to that this time around, just because I don't want to be disappointed again.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg's going to win it.
If we can get Snoop Dogg, that would be awesome.
I mean,
they cannot ignore the Libertarian Party anymore.
I say I'm not like in the party, but I'll probably be in it at some point.
I tell you what, this year, mostly naked guy up on stage has my vote. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Larry Sharp though?
Yeah.
I mean,
Larry Sharp is probably the Libertarian's best option, but
even he's not going to. I don't know. Like,
you're not gonna go from 1% in New York to, I mean, let alone 10% on a national stage.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole aim is to grow the party, like, and win small elections for right now. So it's basically the presidential pick is basically who's going to get the most exposure for the party.
No. The biggest victory the LP has had is actually a city ward position in LA. They as far as people a libertarian represents, the most people one libertarian represents is whatever LA calls its city council.
Well, you need
supervisors or something.
You need to. What you really need is just as many libertarians as possible. Concentrate in the most libertarian areas of the country.
They tried that with the Free State Project, and it's kind of moldered out.
Yeah,
okay, well, let's just do a one-state project.
New Hampshire's in the Northeast, so you're always going to have, a lot of Democrats up there, just because they have the kind of stranglehold up there, anyways.
Let's all invade Rhode Island.
I think what the Libertarian Party should do is not focus so much as like a national party, but just it should be more of like a local level.
Right, but I completely agree. Right, but name me one plank in their platform that applies locally that you can actually sell on. Exactly.
Well, I feel like, for me, like, I'm all about, like, localized government, because that's where, like the services actually come into play.
Right. Absolutely.
And actually
but
benefit you.
Libertarians, by their very nature, are critical. Now, and I don't mean that just in a negative way, but we're also critical thinkers. And where you turn off voters is seeming too heady. If you can't appeal to them in a way that on their level, regardless of their level being a 90 IQ blue collar or 190 professor, you've got to find. You can't walk into a debate saying our schools suck. I want to pull our kids all out of them, and everyone should homeschool. You're going to immediately be branded as anti-teacher. Hey, the cops keep beating people. He's anti-cop. He's blah 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 blah. You're anti-everything, and you're automatically painted yourself into a corner out of victory.
We need some Ron Swansons out there, don't we?
Yeah. Well, actually, like in my town, actually would be the perfect spot because we actually have a good amount of Libertarian Party voters, and it's actually like really bipartisan and actually pretty political. Like it kind of swings Republican right now, but
right.
Or just start taking those uncontested seats.
Exactly. Like I kind of want to run for mayor, like even like just for the hell of it.
I don't know.
No one. You're running on a position as a party and as a member of a party whose entire idea structure can be boiled down to why does government need to do that? And you're running to be a member of that government. Now, it's great if you want to go in and be Ron Paul. If you're going to be that one Ron Paul in that one district that wants a Ron Paul that goes, puts his hand up and says, why do we need to be doing this? But, you've got to eventually have someone that wants to get something done. And regardless of our opinion on being self-actualizing and getting shit done ourselves, you've got 95% of an electorate, an ever shrinking electorate because fewer people seem to be voting on a regular basis. But you've got to have a message of how you're going to get stuff done while maintaining your principles. And libertarians, the best spoken libertarians are the ones who speak principle, but they never have any actions that they can point to and say, "See, I've got stuff done." And that's the hurdle of the party itself, as well as all of its electoral members. I mean, office candidate. I'm trying to say.
Right.
Well,
and it's like on my own end, it's like I have thought about like different approaches and stuff, and I think my biggest selling point would be because my town, up until like about 10, 12 years ago, didn't have a mayor. They just were run by like a city board. So my whole message would be that I'm going to nuke the position once I'm done and bring it back to the days of old.
I don't know.
Hey.
We should have a party that runs a dog for mayor of every city.
They'd get votes.
Main Moon is with us in the live chat. This is probably the best suggestion I've seen yet. Just overthrow the government. Why have we not done that yet? I don't know, but those are a lot of.
We cannot do that here.
I'm just not. I don't know. I don't want to invest anything in the Libertarian Party in 2020 because I don't want to be let down again, and I think it's just going to be a waste of time.
Oh yeah.
But perhaps we can talk about this more on the next live stream. We are reaching our hour. So, we have any parting shots before we end this?
Can I just jump in a second?
Yes.
So,
absolutely.
You all heard obviously of the awful thing that happened in Strasbourg the other night.
Yes.
Yep.
Obviously, again, awful situation. and traumatic as always. It was nice to see the Americans on my timeline reaching out. I think that was very nice, and it's something that I do appreciate, and I think the French people do appreciate a lot. And also, I think the timing. I'm not calling conspiracy. I'm just saying the timing. I think almost saved Macron, because what he really needed was a diversion, and he got it. Sadly, in that sense, it was it's
almost like he planned it.
Well, yeah, but that's why I don't want to go into conspiracies, and I don't believe that. But it's and so I was checking earlier because you mentioned the vote of no confidence that is happening tomorrow. The top 12 stories on the main news outlet in France was about the Strasbourg attack, and right at the bottom you could find the vote of no confidence tomorrow, like right at the bottom, 13th article, which I thought was interesting.
By the way, have they finally caught him?
No, he's. I think he's on the run in Germany now because open
that was the last I'd heard. Yeah,
that was a terrible idea.
Yeah,
not the first time it's something like that happened.
Because I haven't heard, and maybe someone in the audience hasn't heard. Could you give us a summary?
What of what happened?
Yeah.
Okay, so Strasbourg is a city in eastern France. It hosts one of the biggest Christmas markets in Europe. Very beautiful city. I've been there myself. Lovely place. And on Tuesday night, around about 8 o'clock French time, a gunman came into the city, especially near the market area, and opened fire with a handgun. And he was also carrying knives. So he stabbed 2 people, shot 13 people. 3 people have died, and 6 others are critically injured, and the others I think are all right. So that's 3 dead, 12 or 13 injured, and he was then shot in the arm by armed police officers, and has been on the run ever since. And he's believed to have fled to Germany. Yeah, that's it.
And he shouted Allah Akbar. That's Lisa.
Yeah. So that was
So do you guys know where the guy's from? Is he French?
So yeah, he was born in Strasbourg. And again, it's a problem that we have in France here. So we have this thing called S-files, and S-files are people that we know are radicalized. So they're kind of under surveillance without them really knowing. So they're called that's just the name, S-files. And the last 9 terror attacks in France have all been committed by people who are known to the services, essentially. So we know that they're radicalized. We know that they're going to commit terrorism, but we can't technically arrest them. And it's always, that's why it's so infuriating, because we know who they are. We know where they live. And all it takes is just one day for them to snap and to go out and do something. And you can't arrest them before that. So he was born in France. He was, I think he's 28, radicalized, has been known to radicalize others. And it's why Donald Trump's tweet annoyed me, because he said that's why we need to build a wall. But if you're born in the country, what's a wall going to do? If it's radicalization through ideology, there's not much a wall can do to stop that, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Well, I don't think the wall is really for like radical Muslims, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but it's the fact that he made it about the wall when it was at that point it was just don't don't make it about America at this point.
Right, definitely.
Aren't most of these S-file terrorists second generation, born or first generation born of the original immigrants?
Yeah,
they're the children of immigrants.
It's second or third generation children. Yeah. And that's why it's so infuriating and frustrating in particular. So I know you guys know I'm studying criminology, and terrorism in France is the reason I started studying criminology. And that's why it's so frustrating, because we know there's nothing we can do about it. When they're an S-file, until they've done something wrong, there's not much you can do about it.
We need some Minority Report going on in there.
Yeah, I'm too white for that. So yeah.
No, it was a movie.
Oh no, Minority Report, the movie with Tom Cruise, where they could solve.
Yeah, when they do it ahead,
catch the crime before it happens.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
but
there's a parody of that in Futurama.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Totally.
Isn't that what Doctor Who's about? I mean, I've never watched it, but to my understanding, that's what Doctor Who's about too.
Doctor Who's about time travel.
Right, but he time travels to like stop things.
No, he often says that you need to let history happen.
Although he have fucked around in history.
Of course.
My mistake. That was just my my.
It depends which doctor you talk
slight
about.
understanding. Like I said, I've never watched it. I just know a lot of people that talk about it.
Right about time here, aren't we?
Yeah, I was about to say we'll be watching this vote of no confidence for Macron tomorrow. We'll also be watching this story about the gunman. You said he fled to Germany. Will he ever get caught?
Yeah.
Like, is there any chance? Like,
yeah, they've done a public appeal thing.
But that it's not the first time something like that have happened. Like there was once in Paris where either bombings happened and they fled to up to Holland, or it was reversed. What did they do?
No, that was the Bataclan attack in November. They shot at Paris and drove back up to Belgium.
That was like 2-3 years ago when that happened.
Yeah, 2015, the November 2015 attacks.
Yeah, I didn't know exactly which way it was, but they went up. Went up to Holland. They went up to Holland.
Oh, okay.
And they were never caught, as far as I know.
Really?
That is the last thing that I've heard is that they went up to Holland, and that was literally it.
Okay. Who knows?
All right.
So I have no much trust in this one with Germany as well.
Okay. We'll be watching all of these things, and we will be back again next Wednesday with another live stream talking about the 3 things we love most: life, liberty, and sarcasm. Everyone have a good night.
Bye.